2017 Year in Review. April.
In Odessa, Ukraine, a group of American-style cheerleaders performed on a grass field in a stadium prior to a sporting event. Cheerleaders like this are an American tradition, not European. Nevertheless, there they were, performing in a natural grass stadium in the Ukraine. Notice that the turf is green. The grass was also green in Washington, D.C., where people flew kites on the National Mall during the Cherry Blossom Festival. Atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide diminish in the northern hemisphere this time of spring, when plants are sprouting and in bloom. The plants obey the mandate to be fruitful and multiply. They hungrily breathe in the air, taking in carbon dioxide and turning it into oxygen so that they might grow and spread their kind across the earth. Yet despite the best efforts of plants, historically high levels of carbon dioxide are continuously supplemented and maintained in the atmosphere by human activity throughout the planet. Plants derive their energy from photosynthesis, which produces oxygen. Modern industrialized civilization runs on internal combustion, which produces heat, carbon dioxide, and water. On April 1st, 2017, even with plants sprouting and flowers in bloom, industrial civilization was outperforming the plants. In New York City, a pillow fight was sponsored as part of a fundraising effort to benefit homeless shelters. Feathers from pillows also flew in the Netherlands, where people in Amsterdam had their own pillow fight. Sofia, Bulgaria had a pillow fight too. Nearer to the Arctic, teams of men and their reindeer enjoyed a sports competition together, racing their sleighs in the slick and heavy snow. The 2nd of April 2017 was a Sunday, which meant that it was a good time to run the 23rd Roman Marathon, and for people who were running in that marathon to ham it up in front of the cameras. Sunday is a day off from work in most of the world. Even in Pacific Rim nations like China and Japan, Saturday and Sunday are days off from work. In certain Muslim nations and the nation of Israel, it's back to work on Sunday, with Friday and Saturday as days off. Tuesday, April 4th, 2017 was a day of work. It doesn't matter if you were delivering flowers in Rome or tending beds of tulips in Cornwall. In Aguas Calientes, Peru, you might be pushing rebar up a hill, trying to get it to the construction site. In London, you might be going to or from work in the subway. It doesn't matter if you're repairing cars near Moscow or repairing a sidewalk in Istanbul. The whole world works on Tuesdays. In Western Europe, a man discovered that certain hair growth products actually work. He also discovered that new hair did not bring happiness. A woman discovered that growing older did not make her less happy. Workers found out that giving corporations tax breaks did not mean more or better jobs. A young man woke up to discover the true meaning of the term beer goggles. A young man jumping out of a cake met a young woman jumping out of a cake, then discovered that they had absolutely nothing in common. A superwoman met a superman. It was a moment almost as magical as fast-paced pizza delivery. Then she discovered that he was actually gay.
It's not genetics that causes people to become gay,
said a famous scientist.
Human brains aren't born gay. It's civilization that makes human brains gay. It's the weird costumes that civilized people have to wear. It's the impossible role models that we are expected to emulate. Civilization elicits all sorts of strange sexual behaviors that would make absolutely no sense in primitive societies. And then there's the brain chemistry changing effect of cell phones on our attention spans. And the way that commercialization promises us instant gratification. If we went back to being cave people living with the dinosaurs, none of us would be gay.
People didn't live at the time of the dinosaurs,
retorted the Superwoman.
That is exactly my point. We can't turn back time.
On April 7th, 2017, the United States launched 60 Tomahawk cruise missiles at a Syrian airbase in retaliation for the Syrian government's use of chemical weapons against civilians. Involved in the Syrian civil war were the United States and Russia, ISIS, Iran, Turkey, Lebanon, Iraq, and Kurdistan. Who was on whose side is almost impossible to explain. April 9th of 2017 saw the Christian world celebrate Palm Sunday, which commemorates Jesus Christ's triumphant arrival in Jerusalem, just a few days before he was to be crucified. The religious holiday is celebrated by the Roman Catholic Church, the Eastern Orthodox Church, and by Protestant churches. Even the Coptic churches of Egypt celebrate Palm Sunday. On this particular day, in Tanta and Alexandria, Egypt, 2 Coptic Christian churches were bombed. At least 45 people were killed. The Coptic branch of Christianity is older than Roman Catholicism. It's really hard to explain why this attack took place. Sometimes the things that people do to people are almost impossible to explain. In Thailand, a monkey ate a mango on a concrete floor. Also in Thailand, an elephant adjusted his trainer's hat. In the USA, a young boy fed a sheep at a farm. In a Russian zoo, a male polar bear started getting it on with a female. A free-range horse looked skeptically at a young man in Catalonia, Spain. In Sevilla, Spain, tourists rode a horse-drawn carriage. In Lampong, Thailand, tourists rode an elephant. In Japan, a female tourist befriended a deer. Next to the Ganges River in India, a man sat with his dogs. In Dhaka, Bangladesh, the Bengali New Year was celebrated. The traditional greeting for the day is a blessing. Happy New Year. Cotacachi, Ecuador marked the day with an Easter procession. April 14, 2017 was a Good Friday, a day that commemorates the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Good Friday's coincidence with the Bengali New Year was an accident of different calendars. April 16th was Easter Sunday, and giant Easter eggs were on exhibition in the Ukraine. April 17th saw the running of the 2017 Boston Marathon. It was also tax day in the United States. In a part of the United States known as Lincoln, Nebraska, an old guy with bad hearing went to the front hall of his apartment complex to check his mail. He ran into another person who was doing the same.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I just got off work, that's all.
Oh, yeah? Work, huh? What do you do?
I own a porn shop.
Corn shop? You've got to be kidding me. How can anybody make a living selling corn?
No, not corn shop. Porn shop.
That's what I said. Corn shop. Yeah, I know we're in Nebraska. Cornhusker football, cornfields, cornheads, but a corn shop? You've got to be kidding me. That's a loser business plan if I've ever heard one. Get out of that business while the getting's good. Start selling something else.
How about if I start selling pornography?
There you go. That's an idea. Turn your corn shop into a porn shop. I like that idea. People will buy porn.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to get right on that.
Of course you will. Turn your corn into porn into money. It's the American way. You'll go far, young man.
On April 22nd, 2017, over 1 million people took to the streets and marched for something that they believed in. The day was Earth Day. What they believed in was the possibility of a better world, and in their own responsibility to try to make it a better world. They believed in truth. They believed in respect for the world that they were born into, and they believed in love for their fellow man. The special event was called the March for Science. It was a call to politicians to use science as a nonpartisan tool. It was also a denunciation of the politics of Donald Trump. There was anger about the Trump administration's climate policies, and anger about the U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. People feared the repercussions of firing scientists from the National Institute of Health and Environmental Protection Agency. The largest and best organized march, 100,000 strong, was in Washington, D.C. But there were also marches in over 600 other cities. There were also marches in Canada, and also in Europe, and even in Tel Aviv. The earth did not know that the previous day was in her honor, and yet all around the world on this day and every day, the people of the earth do her honor, and are grateful to her for all of the blessings that she has bestowed upon them. Springtime is not a conscious entity. It is not a being, but it breathes. It has no will of its own, but passion and the love of life itself is abundant and alive in her. The city of Zurich, Switzerland celebrates the season of spring with a holiday on the third Monday in April. Istanbul, Turkey celebrates with a tulip festival, which in 2017 lasted to the end of April. In Montenegro, there is the Budva Carnival. Science does not think for itself, nor is the earth a seeker of truth. All over the world, on April 30th, 2017, it was Sunday. People in Bern, Switzerland sat by the river. For iron workers in Bangladesh, there were production schedules to meet. 2 boys splashed one another in a river in rural Thailand. Religious Jews prayed beside the Western Wall in Jerusalem. In Seoul, South Korea, people celebrated Buddha's birthday. Then it became May.